This is your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, August 27th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. Attorney General Holder pressed to explain DEA use of hidden data evidence from NBC News. 8 Democratic senators and congressmen have asked Attorney General Eric Holder to answer questions about a Reuters report that the National Security Agency supplies the Drug Enforcement Administration with intelligence information used to make non-terrorism cases against American citizens. 5 Democrats in the Senate and 3 senior Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee submitted questions to Holder about the NSA-DEA relationship, joining 2 prominent Republicans who have expressed concerns. The matter will be discussed during classified briefings scheduled for September, Republican and Democratic aides said. Quote, "These allegations raise serious concerns that gaps in the policy and law are allowing overreach by the federal government's intelligence gathering apparatus," end quote, wrote the senators Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin, Ron Wyden of Oregon, Tom Udall of New Mexico, Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, and Sherrod Brown of Ohio. The 3 congressmen, John Conyers of Michigan, the senior Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, and Gerald Nadler of New York and Bobby Scott of Virginia, wrote to Holder on August 9th, shortly after the original Reuters report. Air Force bans Greek yogurt with hemp seeds over anti-drug fears, from HuffingtonPost.com. The Air Force warned personnel over the weekend to steer clear of a specific flavor of Chobani Greek yogurt that includes hemp seeds. Hemp contains trace amounts of THC, the psychoactive ingredient also found in marijuana, classified alongside heroin and LSD as a Schedule I drug under federal law. The Air Force, as part of its anti-drug policy, added hemp seed oil products and hemp seed to a list of forbidden substances in 1999, over concerns that they could confuse the results of drug tests regularly given to service members. An independent study by Vote Hemp, a nonprofit hemp advocacy group, found that eating a half-pound of commercial hulled hemp seeds would be unlikely to cause someone to exceed the federal limit of 50 parts of THC per billion. Raleigh, McCrory calls lawmakers back for veto session, from the News Observer. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory on Thursday called for a veto override session of the legislature for September 3rd to consider 2 bills dealing with the drug testing of welfare recipients and immigration. It was not immediately clear whether House Speaker Tom Tillis would ask the House to attempt to override the governor's veto, but one of his lieutenants, Representative Mike Hager, said there were enough votes in the House to override the veto if Tillis wanted to move in that direction. Both bills passed with more than the 3/5 needed to override a veto. Because both are House bills, the decision of whether to attempt an override must be made in that chamber. McCrory vetoed a bill that would require people applying for the state's Work First and food stamps program to be tested if a social worker suspected they might be abusing drugs. It would also require county social services to make sure an applicant didn't have an outstanding felony warrant and wasn't violating probation. Applicants could also be fingerprinted under the measure. The governor said the bill looks good on paper, but it's not an effective way to fight drug abuse. He said a better use of tax dollars is to make sure applicants with addiction issues get the treatment they need. McCrory has been lobbying lawmakers to not override the bills. Oregon State mulls candidate for committee that will draft rules for medical marijuana dispensaries, from Oregon Live. A committee that makes recommendations to the Oregon medical marijuana program has suggested adding 2 prosecutors and an Oregon State police official to the committee that will draft rules for the new registry for medical marijuana retailers. The Advisory Committee on Medical Marijuana has submitted more than a dozen names of potential candidates for the Rules Committee. Todd Delato, chair of the Advisory Committee, said the group supports adding Rob Bovet, the Lincoln County District Attorney with expertise in drug policy, Clatsop County District Attorney Josh Markey, and State Police Captain Mike Dingaman to the Rules Committee. Dingaman formerly oversaw the State Police Drug Enforcement Section. He now oversees the Forensic Services Division, which includes the State Crime Lab. Delato said the committee also recommended that Pat Marshall, who owns Sunrise Analytical, a Wilsonville company that offers testing services for medical marijuana, as well as lawyers, operators of existing medical marijuana retail facilities, patients, and an Ashland doctor who's made referrals to the program. Sarah Bennett, who operated the Human Collective, a Washington County dispensary that was raided last year by local police, is among the names submitted to the state for consideration. The collective served as a model for the new law. Medical marijuana rules approved in Connecticut. Program can now move forward, from current.com. Connecticut's new medical marijuana program will move forward now that regulations governing the system were approved by a key legislative committee in a voice vote Tuesday afternoon. To be licensed to grow marijuana and produce medical marijuana products, applicants must put $2 million in escrow with the state, which will be gradually reduced over 5 years as the licensees hit certain milestones. Producers will also have to pay a $25,000 application fee and a $75,000 license fee. This has been your 420 Radio News for Tuesday, August 27th, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we spend a stony Sunday with our friend Coral Reefer at Dab Central at Seattle Hemp Fest a couple of Sundays ago. You're listening to The Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back after this.